This is exactly how you work on big freelance writing projects while cutting your weekly hours by about 10 hours a week. This system is exactly how I put my business together so that I have a formula to understand how to reach my deadlines, how to execute, and actually not overwhelm myself with too many weekly hours. I'm Mandy Ellis, and I built a six-figure freelance writing business, and now I help other freelance writers hit five-figure months with dream clients without the burnout, stress, and overwhelm. In this video, we are going through that. So let me walk you through number one, how I'm actually doing this. I like different days. So sometimes when I work on something, I have like a research day and a writing day and an editing day. So this helps me break down these projects. I already know, for example, that when I have this kind of like monthly calendar in my mind, so let's kind of like imagine this calendar here, right? It's a rough thing, but we have our calendar here, right? I know my deadline is on this day, so I work backwards, right? So I get the assignment here on this day, right? I get the assignment on this day. I know it's due on this day, and I work backwards to figure that out. This is something that most freelance writers don't do. They try to work forwards. They're like, well, how many hours will it take? And like, what am I doing elsewhere? And what is this? I just work backwards because I know I already have projects here. I'm looking at my calendar. I know what's filled out here. I always have kind of like one monthly calendar. I use my Apple Calendar. You can use Google Calendar. You can use a paper calendar, something that will help you see your workflow. And then I also have another calendar that I use that is like my big picture calendar where I can put in deadlines or I can kind of put in big stuff. So it's like a yearly calendar. It's dry erase. It's actually on my wall right there, and it shows me the whole year. But this system, working backwards, is way smarter than trying to work forwards and guess your hours and try to be like, okay, I need to do this. This works better. I know for how I work, and this has taken me a while to figure out. This is why I teach this system. I need at least one day to research, one day to write, and one day to edit. It doesn't take the whole day, but it really helps me clearly do my best work. So I will take sleep in between these things. So sometimes my research could take an hour or 4 hours, or if it's like a feature article or a really big case study or something like that, it could take much longer. It could take 8 hours, but I know that I need a day and a sleep. Then I know I'm going to write the thing in that next day. So that could take me 2 hours. It could take me 4 hours. It could take me 8 hours. Sometimes if it's a big thing like a case study or a white paper or a feature article, it could take me 2 days. But I know what I'm writing. If it's this bigger type of project that I need to expand this, right? So this then becomes my research day, my 2 writing days, and my editing day. So I know that I need 1 to 3 hours. Sometimes, like if it's a really big thing, like 6 hours for editing. Now, this isn't necessarily about tracking your hours. I give myself a ballpark because that works really well for me. But the system itself is working backwards, right? We are working backwards from when this is due. And you do this for every project. So you break down your big projects into this monthly outlook because every time you get a new project, you should have at least 2 to 4 weeks built in so you can schedule it in your calendar. Don't take a project and then be like, oh, well, I have to schedule it in for Friday. Like this is how people make more money and work fewer hours is you have a longer timeline and then you get paid up front or you have some kind of payment schedule that gives you money. 100% upfront, 50% now, 50% in 30 days, where you don't have to worry so much about money. You're more scheduling it into time. So this helps you manage all of the projects. It breaks it down into like, today we're doing this, today we're doing that, today we're doing this. Time blocking sometimes can be really helpful, right? That's kind of the general idea here. But this helps me execute. If I'm sleeping in between each one of these things, and this was a process I ironed out because like I tried to do too many things at once. But every time I get a big project, I kind of know this thing. If you are someone who is starting to get into big projects, you are starting to get those five-figure projects, this is something that you will learn over time how long something takes. A lot of people are faster than me. I'm not a fast writer. I never have been. It's not my thing. I'm good at other things. I'm good at detail. I'm good at research. I'm good at like getting in the weeds and getting dirty in the grime. I'm good at that. Not good at speed. So some people will get something done in a day. That's not me. Some people do 20 articles a month. When I was doing 20 articles a month, I felt completely burned out. So if you have a big project, right, that's something that you're going to get ballpark numbers on. So start kind of keeping track of the ballparks. And then once you have the ballparks, you can use this system to work backwards. Working backwards is way more effective because I already can see what's in my calendar up here. I know what other deadlines I have. That helps me schedule this initial deadline with my new client to say, hey, I know this is the earliest I can do it because I have all this other work, right? We need to have a buffer zone. Plus, a lot of times writers will agree to deadlines without having a contract signed, without getting payment. Don't start work unless your contract is signed and your payment is paid, okay? So this is another thing that I think happens where you rush to get the deadline, like you rush to get them the work and they're not rushing on their side. So you need to make sure that you're kind of following that. And if you're someone who wants more systems to help you cut your weekly hours or make more money or really get through those plateaus or all this like sticky stuff so you have a well-oiled machine, I have a course called Unskippable. It is a 7-day email course where you are going to turn business pains and plateaus into client gains and dough in just 7 days. So this is something we're using bread and butter business formulas to move beyond, to set those foundations in our business, to set those systems so we can actually not feel overwhelmed or stressed or burned out or feel like every time we're rushing through all of these projects, not actually taking our time to do high quality work. And because you're watching this on YouTube, I am going to give you 50% off. So it is only $47. If you use the code YTSKIP, so YTSKIF, you will get 50% off. It's normally $97. I'm giving it to you for $47. So code YTSKIP will give you 50% off, and you will get 7 days of foundational lessons. So these are the things that I have been asked about so many times that I built out this email course so you can kind of get through the pieces at an affordable price to build the foundation in your business. These are things you cannot skip. That's why they are bread and butter principles. So you will get 7 lessons, and I built in some extra special little sparkly bits in there where you will see little bonus tips or little extra stuff. So make sure you look for those. Look for little bonus tips or look for little treats or little ways that maybe you can skip a lesson or try something else. So I put a lot of little Easter eggs in there. And I think it's really helpful for a lot of writers to set the right foundations in their business moving forward to gain more money, gain better clients, understand how to run this business like a well-oiled machine, work fewer hours, and just cut a lot of like the spinning in circles or the overwhelm or like feeling like you have to start over all the time. So if you use code YTSKIP, you'll get 50% off Unskippable. If you go to mandyellis.com/skip, it'll drop you right in there and you'll be able to see it. So mandyellis.com/skip. And I hope that it really helps you build the strong foundations in your business and you actually see the overwhelm cloud go away and you can finally put pieces in, those pillar pieces, those bread and butter principles into your freelance writing business so you can move forward without feeling all sweaty teddy about everything. Number 2 here, when I am doing my workflow, I'm having these separate days, but I'm also understanding that I am breaking these large projects down into chunks, especially if I'm going through a like a bigger thing like a content strategy project or a brand messaging project or a messaging and positioning project. Those have timelines. So if you are going beyond like one case study or one white paper, right? You're going into to content strategy or brand messaging. I like to have a timeline on that your client agrees to. So your client agrees, like, here's all the deadlines for everything. You have set that up. I buffer in 2 to 3 weeks for each thing because there's a lot of deliverables and you need your clients to review them. Sometimes you need to get on calls. People need time to do that. So you need to kind of build that template or that timeline, and then your clients agree to it. And then now we can put all of that in our calendar. But we have set the timeline. We have set the timeline to make sure that everything is like in place for us to do our best work without rushing around. The other piece here when we're breaking down large projects, let's say you get a project that has multiple different deliverables, right? Let's say you're like doing 2 case studies, a white paper, a guide, and 4 thought leadership posts, right? Like that's something, or 4 thought leadership articles. That's something that your client wants to do. So you end up creating a similar schedule with your clients. Their priority is, let's say their first priority is a case study, their second priority is thought leadership, their third priority is the guide, and the last one is the white paper. Those are all broken out into deadlines with your client. So this is another thing I've noticed where freelancers are just start working. They don't get all the deadlines scheduled. You need to get all of these deadlines scheduled in your calendar with your client and agree to them. So you have priorities, you know what to start working on, you know when to start working on something, and you know if the project's kind of like falling off the rails, you can go to your client and be like, hey, I need more time. Like we need to kind of push stuff back. We need to kind of have that kind of umbrella deadline schedule when we get started with a client. And this really helps you cut your hours because you now have this nice balance of like, I know this is due here, this is due there, and I break it down by day, right? So this day I'm going to do research, or this day I'm going to do the interview and transcribe it, and I'm going to grab these notes. And this day I'm going to write it, or I'm going to add research. This day I'm going to edit it. This day I might look for graphics, or I might end up designing it, right? Let's say it's a case study and you're doing the graphic design, which can happen if you choose to do that. But you have this foundation already to start cutting things down, which helps you decrease your weekly hours because you know where all the deadlines fall and you don't fall into the trap of the work expands to the time available. This is something I talk about all the time with my Wealth Lab and my Runway students, is that you can't let the work expand to the time available. It's like a goo. It like just gets all over everything. And I've been very guilty of that before, letting my work expand to the time available. This helps you set specific days or time frames or deadline schedules for you to then cut down the time you spend, rather than just like being like, well, today is this, like the whole day I'm going to do this. Rather, right? Now we can actually cut our weekly hours because we have a very clear picture of what we're doing in our business. So this is the system that I have used to cut hours in my business, to have my students cut. They work, some of them work part-time, some of them work 20 hours a week, some of them work 30 to 35 hours a week. And this is something that they're using to plan their schedule, right? Some of them track their hours super, like they're super hour trackers. That's cool too. If you want to track your hours and that helps, do that as well. But for me, my perfect system is like, give me the big picture overview and then let me get granular in the deadlines and the days that we're working on things. So I hope this is kind of helping you see that like when we work backwards, that's more effective in cutting our weekly hours than trying to work forwards all the time. And that it's much more helpful when you have big projects to cut the time and the effort and the energy by actually having all of your deadlines timelined out with your client. So you don't just have 5 deliverables. You know exactly the priority of for your clients, when you need to get started, what's the overlap maybe with another piece of content, or cutting the overlap. And then it helps you decrease that, so you know over the next like 3 months what deliverables are due when. So I hope that kind of helps you see that. The next video that we're going to go through is the business plan. So this was kind of the system for like day-to-day work. Then I'm going to tell you how I kind of doubled my income with this business plan I set up with templates and examples. And really how I reviewed my business and how I get deep into the data. A lot of freelancers are scared of data. They skip the data, and the data is the thing that's really going to help you earn more and work fewer hours, or earn more and work for better clients, or really just build a business that actually works for you personally, like how you would like to run your business day to day. So I hope that this has been helpful, and I will see you next time.